What is the last planner system? The weekly work plan. In this video, I'm going to show you on my computer screen what a weekly work plan looks like in its right format and how you develop it and how you use it specifically so that you can make commitments and focus on handoffs and then later track PPC. I think you're going to love this because you're going to see exact examples. Stay with us on this video. What is the last planner system weekly work plan? In this video, I'm going to take you through our content from the book Takt, Steering and Control, and I'm going to explain what a weekly work plan is and how to use it and give you some tips that will really be remarkable for your project. So if you're into that, stay with us. Okay, everybody, I hope you're super stoked. I got a couple of pages from our new book, Takt, Steering and Control, and an example that I want to show you. And today, what I want to do is talk to you about the weekly work plan. And so, like I said, this is in page 140 and 141 of the Takt, Steering and Control book. So what is a weekly work plan? Well, obviously it's a work plan, and I'll just go ahead and show you that covers next week, right? And it's a weekly work plan that the trades can follow. But really, it's all about promises. It's all about commitments, right? So inside your look-ahead plan, the week of, meaning next week, you need to take that content out and put it into a format. Now, thanks and a shout out to our folks out there at High Street Ventures, because I was able to use their format here to show you exactly what this is all about. And so what we want to do is identify where handoffs are. So let me just go ahead and point that out. Well, actually, the purpose is, in a weekly work plan, to see daily production in each zone by every person. The plan should be taken into the field to do your walks. You should be able to manage handoffs where trades are going from zone to zone, identify roadblocks with those handoffs, make adjustments on the printout, and then use this printout in daily collaborative meetings. So just like I said with the look ahead, you've got your time on the top, your work zones, your weekly work plan. A big thing that you see here that you didn't see in the look ahead plan is the handoffs, and then obviously you see the legend. Now, one thing that's different is when you look in this column here, every activity has its own line item. The purpose for that is so that you can check it off and see very clearly where you're supposed to be, but you also know what zone you're in and what wagon number it is. So this is absolutely remarkable. We want this in the hands of every trade partner and every superintendent on the daily so that we can track production. Here's the key. If you can actually make sure that your handoffs are happening on time, now there's a lot per day, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but if you're hitting these handoffs above 80%, you know you're flowing on the job. Now let's say that you have 17 handoffs, but you only have 2 assistant superintendents to check them. Well, let's say each assistant super can do like 7 each, right? I think I mentioned 15. Let's say there's 1 or 2 or maybe even 5 that you can't cover. Well, if there's trusted trade partners that have done pretty well, maybe you're like, hey, trades, can you two do your own handoffs? And that's coordinated in the afternoon foreman huddle, but the other ones are supervised by the assistant superintendent. The bottom line is, with this tool, everybody should see where they're working, what the activities are, and when it needs to happen, and most importantly, the commitment that they've made to a different trade partner. This is remarkable. This is what a weekly work plan is supposed to do. So let me take you to an example. Just like I showed you in the look ahead template, we have and this is based off of the Honor Health Neuroscience Institute TAC plan. We see the macro level TAC plan, and in here you see the path of critical flow, which is much different than a critical path. A critical path simply has activities, durations, and logic ties. A path of critical flow has something that's really neat. It has not only a sequence from a properly done pull plan, but it has trade flow and it has buffers. So this is our overall strategy. And again, I'm going to take a slice of this TAC plan and show you what they look like in the other formats. And so let's go over here to the actual norm level TAC plan. This one has a different TAC time than your macro. This is where you actually have the right number of zones. This is your production target. Once you have this, you can filter out the weekly work plan and the 6-week look ahead plan. Now, I've already shown you in another video, which we can link you to here, what the look-ahead plan would look like in this example. You see interiors and exteriors, and you're able to come in here. Actually, this might just do well for me to remind everybody what we're looking at. The purpose here is if you take this activity, for instance, and you're like, hey, I want to make that ready, you ask those 17 key things that I showed you in the last video, right? What does it take to make this work ready? And if you find any activities in here that aren't ready, that don't have those 17 things, then those are possible roadblocks, right? And you identify, discuss, and solve those roadblocks. Now, when you do that, you're seeing the roadblocks 6 weeks out, but you're solving them in the middle 4 so that you have a clear weekly work plan where you're focused on handoffs and commitments. This is how the system's supposed to work. So when you come over here to the actual weekly work plan, and you're using the utility of this tool, you are not focused on clearing roadblocks as your primary activity. If you have them, you are, but you're mainly focused on making work ready so that these handoffs can be met. And on the weekly work plan, you'll have your, not only from the agenda of the meeting, but you'll have your typical format, your legend, and your zone maps. The idea is if one trade is moving, like for instance from 2B to zone 2C, it will be marked in this handoff, and you can go out in the field and make sure that handoff is happening. These are check-ins that make sure you have good flow. And so a weekly work plan is the next week. It is coordinated. Trade partners make adjustments as needed in a collaborative system, but the key thing is these handoffs and then utilizing it literally out in the field to make work ready. Now, the idea is from the weekly work plan, you create day plans. And these day plans will have an agenda for the day. This is what we're communicating to the workers. You're able to draw on the logistics plan, draw on the zone maps, and make sure that everybody can see as a group, know as a group, and act as a group in the field. So really a nice system. The thing that I want you to remember here is that there's nothing like a weekly work plan to identify handoffs, to make sure that we're maintaining flow, and to visually communicate to everybody what's happening on the project site. So I'll give you the link to the template. I will give you a link to the book Takt, Steering and Control. We will turn this into a blog post and into a list to show you how to use these wonderful tools. If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. We want to keep you here. We'll do more videos like this, but this is the utility of a weekly work plan. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.